How realizing nobody cares about me changed my life the day I became invisible. Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel. I was at a party. It was one of those nights where everyone seemed to be having the time of their lives. The music was loud, the laughter was infectious, and the energy in the room was palpable. I could see people dancing, chatting animatedly, and genuinely enjoying themselves, but there I was, standing alone, feeling like an outsider in a place where everyone else seemed to belong. Loud music, people laughing, the works. The DJ was spinning tracks that had everyone moving, and the room was filled with the kind of joy that you could almost touch. Yet, despite the vibrant atmosphere, I felt a growing sense of detachment. It was as if I was watching a movie, and everyone else was a character in it except me. I told a joke, my best one. It was a joke that had always gotten laughs before, a surefire way to break the ice and connect with people. I delivered it with all the enthusiasm and timing I could muster, hoping to draw some attention and maybe even a few laughs. Silence. Nobody even looked my way. It was as if my words had evaporated into thin air. I scanned the room, hoping to catch someone's eye, but everyone was engrossed in their own conversations and activities. It was a strange and unsettling feeling, like I was a ghost in a room full of living, breathing people. It was like I was invisible. I stood there feeling more and more isolated with each passing moment. The realization hit me hard. I was surrounded by people, yet completely alone. It was a stark contrast to the lively environment around me, and it made me question my place in it all. That night, a weird thought hit me. Maybe nobody really cares about me. It was a thought that had been lurking in the back of my mind for a while, but it had never felt so real and undeniable as it did in that moment. I started to wonder if all my efforts to fit in and be liked were in vain. I know, depressing, right? But stay with me here. This isn't just a sob story. It's about a realization that changed the way I saw myself and the world around me. It's about coming to terms with a harsh truth and finding a way to move forward. At first, it was a punch in the gut. The idea that nobody really cared about me was a heavy blow. It made me question everything, my relationships, my self-worth, and my place in the world. It was a dark and lonely place to be, and I felt like I was drowning in a sea of doubt and insecurity. Years of craving approval, of wanting to be liked, felt pointless. I thought about all the times I'd gone out of my way to please others, to fit in and to be accepted. It seemed like all those efforts had been for nothing. The realization was both liberating and devastating at the same time. What was the point of trying so hard if nobody noticed anyway? I started to question the value of my actions and the motivations behind them. Was I doing things because I genuinely wanted to, or was I just seeking validation from others? It was a tough question to face, but it was one that I needed to answer. This wasn't some pity party. It was a moment of clarity, a chance to reevaluate my priorities and my sense of self. I realized that I had been placing too much importance on what others thought of me and not enough on what I thought of myself. It was time to make a change. It was a cold, hard truth staring me in the face. But it was also an opportunity to redefine my self-worth and to find validation from within. I decided that night that I would no longer let the opinions of others dictate my happiness. I would focus on being true to myself and finding joy in my own company. It was the beginning of a journey towards self-acceptance and inner peace, and it all started with the realization that sometimes being invisible isn't such a bad thing after all. It hurts. We're social creatures. We crave connection, belonging. From the moment we're born, we seek out the warmth of another human being. It's in our nature to want to be part of a group, to feel accepted and loved. This need for connection is deeply ingrained in us, and it shapes much of our behavior and our interactions with others. To feel like we matter, we want to know that our presence makes a difference, that our absence would be felt. This desire to be valued is a fundamental part of the human experience. It's why we go out of our way to make friends, to build relationships, to be part of something bigger than ourselves. So the idea that people might not care about us cuts deep. It can be a harsh realization, one that shakes us to our core. When we feel ignored or overlooked, it can trigger a cascade of negative emotions. We start to doubt ourselves, to question our worth. It's a painful experience, one that can leave lasting scars. It triggers insecurities, makes us question our worth. We start to wonder if there's something wrong with us, if we're somehow deficient or lacking. These thoughts can be incredibly damaging, eroding our self-esteem and making us feel even more isolated. It's a vicious cycle, one that's hard to break. We start overthinking. Was it something I said? Did I do something wrong? These questions can haunt us, keeping us up at night as we replay every interaction in our minds. We become our own worst critics, scrutinizing every word, every gesture, looking for clues as to why we feel so disconnected. Am I not good enough? This is perhaps the most painful question of all. It strikes at the heart of our self-worth, making us feel small and insignificant. We start to believe that we're not worthy of love or friendship, that we're somehow fundamentally flawed. It's a dark place to be, and it can be incredibly hard to find our way out. The truth is, most people are so caught up in their own lives, their own insecurities, that they don't have the bandwidth to care about yours, and that's okay. It's important to remember that everyone is fighting their own battles, dealing with their own struggles. Just because someone doesn't show you the attention or care you crave, doesn't mean you're not worthy of it. It just means they're dealing with their own issues. Harsh, but true. It's not personal, it's just life. Understanding this can be liberating. It allows us to let go of the need for external validation and focus on building a strong sense of self-worth from within. We can learn to be kinder to ourselves, to recognize our own value, and to seek out connections that are genuine and fulfilling. In the end, the most important relationship we have is the one we have with ourselves. So let's nurture it, cherish it, and let it be the foundation upon which we build all other relationships. From pain to power. Here's where things get interesting. This realization, this initial sting of indifference, can be a catalyst for incredible growth. Think about it. If nobody really cares, then you're off the hook. You're free. You can stop trying to please everyone. Stop seeking validation from people who probably wouldn't notice anyway. This isn't about becoming a hermit or a jerk. It's about shifting your focus from external validation to internal satisfaction. Embracing self-reliance. When you realize nobody's coming to save you, you learn to save yourself. You become your own hero. You build resilience. You learn to solve your own problems, chase your own goals, and define your own worth. This isn't about becoming an island. It's about building a strong foundation within yourself so that you can connect with others from a place of strength, not neediness. Section 5. Drawing the line, the power of boundaries. Not caring what others think doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means understanding your own value and not allowing others to trample over it. In a world where everyone has an opinion, it's easy to get lost in the noise. But when you set boundaries, you create a space where your voice can be heard clearly, without the interference of others' expectations. It means setting healthy boundaries. These boundaries are not walls to keep people out, but rather guidelines that define how you want to be treated. They are essential for maintaining your mental and emotional well-being. By setting these boundaries, you communicate to others what is acceptable and what is not, ensuring that your needs are met and respected. It means having the courage to say no to things you don't want and yes to things that light you up. This courage comes from a deep understanding of your own desires and priorities. When you say no to things that drain your energy, you make room for activities and people that bring joy and fulfillment into your life. It's about making choices that align with your true self, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Sometimes setting boundaries can lead to conflict or discomfort, but it's a necessary part of maintaining your integrity. It's important to remember that you are not responsible for others' reactions to your boundaries. Your primary responsibility is to yourself and your well-being. This is where your power lies. When you stand firm in your boundaries, you reclaim control over your life. You become more confident and self-assured, knowing that you are living in alignment with your values and beliefs. This empowerment radiates outward, influencing how others perceive and interact with you. When you stop letting others dictate your worth, you reclaim your autonomy. You begin to see yourself through your own eyes rather than through the lens of others' expectations. This shift in perspective allows you to pursue your goals and dreams with renewed vigor and determination. You become the author of your own story. Every decision you make, every boundary you set, shapes the narrative of your life. By taking control of your story, you create a life that is true to who you are, filled with purpose and meaning. Embrace the power of boundaries and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Section 6. Taking the wheel, you're in control now. Here's a secret: you've always been in control. But believing that others hold the keys to your happiness gives your power away. Realizing nobody cares is like waking up from a dream. You see that you're the one driving the bus. Take responsibility for your life, your choices, your actions, your happiness. It's all on you. It's scary, sure, but it's also incredibly liberating. Section 7, Real Connections. Giving without expectations. Here's the paradox. When you stop needing others' approval, you become more open to genuine connection. You can be present, authentic, and give without expecting anything in return. You attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. You build relationships based on mutual respect, not neediness. Section 8. Level up. The freedom of not caring. Imagine a life where you're not constantly seeking validation, where you're free to pursue your passions, speak your truth, and be your weird, wonderful self without apology. That's the power of not caring. It's not about apathy, it's about choosing what truly matters to you and focusing your energy there. It's about living a life that's true to yourself, not the expectations of others. Section 9. Your turn. Embrace the liberation. This isn't some magical overnight transformation, it's a journey. Start small. Challenge yourself to do something that scares you. Speak your mind. Set a boundary. Each step you take will bring you closer to a life of freedom and authenticity. So, go ahead, embrace the liberating truth. Nobody cares. And that's okay. In fact, it's the key to unlocking your full potential and living a life that's truly yours. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thanks for joining me today on this journey.